Hey, I got a quick production tip for you today, an easy way to take your transitions and elevate them. What do I mean by transitions? When you go from one section to the next, from a verse to a chorus, from a chorus to an instrumental or a solo, basically anytime we're switching from one section of the song to another, this is one thing that I've employed time and time again that's worked super well to make sure that transition feels super good, has this energy to it, and doesn't kind of leave me disappointed by the end. You can absolutely overdo this, but if you do it just right, it makes all the difference. I want to play the end of a verse for you. So the place in question is right here at just around bar 70, where it transitions from a verse into a chorus. And I want to let you just hear that transition here. I'm going to give you a few bars before and let you hear going into it. This is the without the thing I'm going to show you, and then I'll show you what it is. Here we go.
The longing won't relent. I'm on something. Yeah, I'm on something. Oh, their lies, they're not something to believe in, but they're beautiful.
So one of the things I love to do is to make sure that there's always each new section, in addition to what I'm going to show you here for the transition, that each new section has something new happening, either a new chord progression, new instruments come in, something is different to make this section stand out. And so, for example, the bass doesn't come in until that chorus begins. So the bass is this red track here. It's actually just a double bass section MIDI instrument. So that hasn't come in the entire song until this moment. That helps. But still, the transition feels okay, but isn't like as big as it could be. Isn't as impactful as it could be. Here it is again.
Something.
Now, granted, a lot of things are happening. There's a drum loop that comes in as well. There's some extra parts that come in, all doing their part, but the transition could be helped. I'm going to now play you with the transition element, and you can kind of probably tell what it is by looking at the screen, but if you want to close your eyes and just listen again, I'm going to give you a few measures before that section.
Relent, I'm on something. Yeah, I'm on something. Their lies, they're not something.
Now you probably guessed what it is. It is not just a cymbal swell. You might think it is, but yes, there's a cymbal swell involved. It's just these I recorded a couple decades ago and I still use them all the time. These are so useful. You'll see on this particular song, I use it 7 different times. And sometimes that alone is enough. By the way, just kind of word of advice, if you're going to use these, I've seen people use them wrong. Make sure like the peak of it happens at the downbeat. A lot of people have it happening after and it feels weird. Make sure it crescendos to right here. That's what you're looking for. But in addition, you may notice another track in this session that looks similar and is behaving similarly, and that's this reverse piano. I find reverse piano, specifically reverse low note on the piano, is one of my favorite things. It's not always appropriate, but when it is, it's so nice. Here's what that sounds like. Oh, that makes me happy. So what is that and how can we do it? And the two combined together are just glorious. And again, hear it in context of the whole deal.
Their lies, they're not something.
So it's very, very simple to make. If you've got access to a piano sound, you can do this. Let me show you how to make it. Let's use a scratch pad for this. First thing we need to do is bring in a piano. So let me press F6. Let's check out presence. Depending on what you have installed, if you have the ability on your account, if you're subscribed, you do the subscription, you should have access to the PreSonus Studio Grand down here. Absolutely, you should install that. It's a couple of gigabytes of a beautiful piano sample. Let's choose just the condenser one is fine. I'm going to add it down here as a channel. Give it a second to load. All right, cool. And now all I want to do is just play a low note. And specifically, I want to play the note that we're transitioning to. So, for example, I think the note was an A. No, it was a B. So those are the notes that I want. Now I could play those, or we can literally just add them in. Let me just double click here. We've got ourselves a MIDI bloopity bloop. That's what it's called. And I can just hold down Command and just click on a B. Let's make it a measure long. And let's go another octave. I don't know if another octave makes sense. Might not need this the top one. Yeah, that's perfect. And that's it. So you just make it as long as you need it to be. Preferably, I'd say make it at least 2 measures long, because then you can always like trim it up once we've done the reverse. So we just had it 1 measure here. Let's make it 2. Cool. Now all we got to do is select this section and just hit Command B. And it's going to bounce that down, B for bounce, into an audio file that we can see now. So this has been muted. We're not using it. So this is what we got. Now, the first thing we want to do is hit Command R. It's Control R on the PC. Or just right-click and find the reverse. It's somewhere under, like, Event, probably. There it is. Reverse Audio. Command R. So we just reverse it. Boom. Obviously, that's a little bit abrupt when it ends. Occasionally that can be really cool, but the only thing to do now is to just add reverb. So you can use a reverb send, or if you want to put this just on the track itself to keep everything kind of self-contained, you can do that. The new studio verb would be perfect for this. Let's just drag it right on. Let's set the mix to like 50%. Let's do the low cut a little bit. Let's make it about, it feels like a right 3 seconds long, sounds about right. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, that's glorious. And we can even, you can even chop it up a little bit so that it doesn't quite have that initial transient. It sounds like we need a little bit more reverb on this. And that little blip at the beginning, you could maybe fade that out if you don't want to, but you're not going to hear that because that's going to happen on the downbeat of the song. But just kind of mess with it a little bit. And that's it. You got your reverse reverb. Now you can put this as wherever you want in the song, and it's going to swell in and swell out. Now you may have noticed on mine, you can see it's got the swell built in. I just took this thing that I created with the sound, and I just printed that as its own sound. So I rendered the reverb, exported it as just a stereo file, then brought it back in. But you don't have to if your computer can handle it. And then just throw that in to different sections. Now, as far as a cymbal swell, it's worth it to find some online. I have some over on my website. If you want to reach out to me, I can let you know where they are. I'll tell you, it's just homestudiocorner.com/swells. Free download to get some cymbal swells that do that swishy thing. But man, those two together make such an impactful thing. And you could even go a step further and put reverb on that moving forward, print that, and then reverse that. Then you have the reverse reverb effect happening as well. I don't know if that makes a difference in a big, dense mix, if you'll even hear it. But listen to how this sounds going into like this instrumental section.
In front of me, I know that it will set.
Actually, it did not happen in that section. Let's see, coming out of that instrumental here.
They're beautiful, but their lies, they'll destroy me from within.
It's just one of my favorite things ever. And now I hope it's one of your favorite things as well. Thanks for watching. My name's Joe. I'll see you in the next one.